So I decide to run after a year, sort of competitively. And what do I decide to do? Well, go and run for a cause because we go big or we go home, yeah? Well, sort of. I didn't exactly decide it, I was kind of called for it. But it was fun nevertheless. And I ran to show that disabled people can run. Yes, we don't need wheelchairs all the time. Sometimes, not all the time. Anyway, here's the story of how I sort of decided to run and the entire experience of it. Let's go. So before I begin my fun tale, let me just give you a quick background as to exactly what this run is or was. Well, this was called Athlete Unleashed, and the idea was that it wanted to portray how disabled people could run or just show the spirit of athleticism in terms of how it prevails even when you're disabled, and how even people with any sort of protected characteristic are no different from those without. It was a part of the Bangalore Marathon, which is basically a series of marathons and an entire event in Bangalore every single year. And it was in collaboration with 3 companies: Assist Tech Foundation, the NEB Sport, and Wipro. I'll provide more details about those in the description, and there's actually a video explaining the entirety of the run and why it was there in its vision. I'll put that in the description as well. 1 week before the run arrives, and I get to know who's running with me. Well, it turned out to be this man by the name of Mr. Jonas Brunswick, and he's the Consul General of Switzerland in India. He's actually the youngest Consul General of Switzerland in the entire world. And it's really cool. I met this guy back in May a few times, and he was so chill and it was so cool to hang out with him. And so he decided to run with me. I got to know later that he actually requested to be my guide during that run, and I really got touched. So thank you, Jonas.
Wow.
And so I was pumped, and so was he. Now though, let's get into the meat of the thing. What exactly happened on the day of the run? We reached in the morning, and we had actually kind of funny side story, a bit of car trouble. My dad couldn't turn off the car, and after 5 minutes of faffing around, he realized he just hadn't put it in park.
What the hell?
Genius. Anyway, that happened and we got to the gate. Little bit of pre-confusion, but we got there. Met up with Jonas, and then I had this really cool moment where I got to interact with Deepa Malik. She is the first Paralympic gold medalist in India. She's actually on a wheelchair. She's gotten medals in shot put, discus throw, and javelin throw. She was the one who flagged us off, and she's also won the Khel Ratna award in India. I believe that's what it's called. We were not the only ones running though. There were quite a few people. No, there were a lot of people doing the 5-kilometer fun run along with us. We were just the guys from Assist Tech, or called by Assist Tech. We actually were in white t-shirts with bibs on and badges. And the people doing the fun run but not from Assist Tech were wearing blue t-shirts with bibs on, of course, and no badges. While we were waiting, by the way, we tried to stretch and get ready. We tried, not really saying we completed it, but here's a few clips of us doing that. Led by one of Jonas's friends. Her name is Mahgu, if I got that pronunciation right. Or you can just call her Mango. So thank you so much, Mango, for the help there in stretching. So anyway, the moment of truth arrives. We are vibing to the music that's playing in the background, which is, by the way, amazing. And we watch the others complete a run, and we get ready. We get the countdown, we're ready, and we get the flag off from Deepa. As soon as the flag went off, Jonas and I set off running. We just bolted away. And a funny story was that my dad didn't think we'd really go that fast or we'd really bomb it. And so he decided that he was going to take some pictures in front and behind us. He thought he could outrun us and take some pictures as we ran forward. But then a few hundred meters in, my dad just gave up and decided to walk and not take pictures. So thank you to Mango for taking some amazing pictures of us running. One thing to note, which is very interesting, was that it was not just people who were visually impaired who were running. You had, of course, visually impaired people with guide runners like myself, and those were in varieties too. You had actually people who had a leash tied to their arm or a string that allowed the guide runner to sort of swerve them around. You had people who were holding on to another person's arm, like I was doing with Jonas's, or you literally had people just running and the guide runner tapping them on the elbow when they had to turn. That's very interesting to know. But you also had people with locomotive disabilities, people who were in wheelchairs, and people with other disabilities too, all doing this 5-kilometer run. There were also a lot of stations for water and first aid, so it was really well organized as far as the run went. So anyway, Jonas and I start off, and the track actually cuts through a bit of traffic and then goes into a stretch of road where there are no cars or anything. And we're bombing it. We run the entirety of the 5 kilometers, by the way, in 30 minutes, which I'm kind of proud of actually. And Jonas was motivating me all through the way. He was actually describing all of the paths, which I really loved, so big shout out to him. And we were goofing around. So when we completed the run, there were actually a lot of physios, doctors, and people to help you out with any pull or catch you may have. I didn't really take that because it was not such a major pull for me. We just splashed ourselves with cold water and waited in the stands. A funny story was that my dad came in 10 minutes later because he was walking the entire thing because he was kind of forced to. Anyway, we waited for him, and then we had a quick moment. We got some medals, and we had a quick moment with Times of India giving a quick interview as to what exactly was the run like with certain technology. Again, I'll link that interview in the description if you want to read that one. Finally, we ended it with some group pictures and a bit of a word from Jonas. This is my guide runner. This is Jonas Brunswick. Hi, Jonas.
Hey, Pranav.
Well, we're taking the shot after we've run, but what was the experience like?
It's really fun. Good run. We had to do a lot of slaloming around people who were walking, sadly, so I think we ran a little more than a 5K. We ran the whole thing through and through, so get to stand here feeling accomplished.
Yeah, indeed. Legs are a little hard, but that's good.
And it was the first time that I got to be a guide runner.
Oh, really? That I did not know. Well, how was your guide running experience, I guess?
Well, you tell me.
You did great. I thoroughly enjoyed my time running with you.
As did I.
Thank you.
We've had a little more fun in the first 2 kilometers, and then we had to focus a little bit more on preserving energy and pushing through for the remaining 3, but we did it.
All the same, it was fun. So thank you so much for running with me.
Thank you.
So if I were to basically assess whether this was useful or not, or what my thoughts on this run were, I think it was beautiful. It was so great to see the spirit of running just shown in all its glory in front of everyone. The fact that any person, regardless of a protected characteristic, can take part in athletics was amazing. And I think it was led by one of the best mascots you could ever have in Ms. Deepa Malik. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to take part next year. And I would encourage you guys to do the same, not just in Bangalore. If you've got some event like this, if you've got an equivalent to take part in, I would always encourage you guys to do it, either as someone who's disabled or as someone who's got a protected characteristic. It's always sending a good message, and trust me, you're gonna have fun. For my part, I can't wait to take part next year. I'd like to thank Jonas for helping me through the run, for being a wonderful sport, and just absolutely making sure I had a blast. I'd also like to thank the Assistec Foundation and Wipro for the organization. Seriously, it was organized in such a hassle-free way. It was wonderful. Well, that's a wrap for this one. Thank you for watching and or listening, and I'll see you in the next one.